Good morning, everyone. It's Monica in Costa Rica, and I'm just here on the balcony of my cabin, which I love so much because it's got this gorgeous view. And I'm just enjoying the sun rising this morning and reflecting on nature and all the wonderful symbols that's been sending me lately. And I know on one of my previous videos I said I would share them with you. So I thought today would be a really good day because I got a really big message this morning. So I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of wrap up and give you the gist of all the signs and symbols that nature's been sending me lately. So it first started on September 1st. I started getting some, let's say, unusual symbols from nature. So that night I went to bed and I turned off the light, and I was surprised by this flash of light on my bed. And I was like, am I imagining things? And then it happened again. I'm like, what the heck is that? And then it flashed again, and then I started looking closer, and it was a little light bug flashing green light on my bed, and it was, just hanging out with me on, like on my blanket, basically on my leg. It was kind of wanting to stay close to me, and it pretty much slept with me the whole night because I didn't have, I didn't want to kill this thing. It was so beautiful, and I was just enjoying its light flashing all night. It was just beautiful. And the next night, there were a couple of light bugs just outside my bedroom window, which is in a really weird spot because I've got all this construction stuff sort of leaned up against it. But it was like, so they were trying to get in. There's two little light bugs. It looks like they were having fun trying to get in my window. And so I was really curious to see what that meant. So I looked it up. I Googled what the spiritual significance of a light bug is, and it is LOVE and light, which was just beautiful. It's the theme of this year. I'm love and light is definitely where we're headed in this universe. So I thought, oh my gosh, what a beautiful message from the universe. And then a few nights later, I was awoken to my dog getting all excited outside, and I was wondering what the heck is going on. And I realized it smelled a little bit like skunk. and that sort of alarmed me. I'm like, oh my gosh, my dog is going to get sprayed. So I got up and I looked at her, and sure enough, she was all excited because she found a skunk and she wanted to play with it. And the tail was up, ready to spray. I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? So I called her in. She's not very good at listening, but she actually did listen this time. She came in and she was all excited. She was laughing. She was, most excited I've ever seen her, really. She was so excited to see this skunk. And I thought, geez, I know there's skunks around here, but I don't see them very often. And it's very strange that it would come to basically sit underneath my light outside and play with the dog. So I looked up what the skunk meant, and skunk is actually a very revered animal in Indigenous culture, and it symbolizes strength. It also symbolizes patience, and it gives a message to conserve your resources. Because you see, once a skunk sprays you, it is really vulnerable for those next 3 days because it takes 3 days for those glands to refill. So what the message is that, it's a very powerful animal because it doesn't need to fight. All it needs to do is spray, and it's well protected. But for 3 days, it's very vulnerable. So it was telling me, the universe was telling me to conserve my resources and to be prepared for at least 3 days of, I'm gonna call it darkness. So that was just a beautiful message for me as well. And then the last few days, I've been getting all kinds of orange messages from nature. So I've had this really beautiful butterfly, and it come sit right on my floor outside my patio. And it comes almost every day. I've noticed it was trying to send me a sign, and until I realized what that sign was, it wouldn't go away. It was solid orange. And while we have these butterflies in Costa Rica, they're not that common, and I don't see them that common here. So I knew it was a sign from nature. And not only that, yesterday morning, after beautiful rain, the trees were all sparkly with the fresh rain on them. But there is one sparkly, shining light that was orange, and it was just flashing orange at me, just constantly flashing orange. And no matter where I went, I could see this orange flash. And I've seen these flashes in the trees before, but they've never been orange. Usually they're purple. I've seen purple flashes, or rainbow flashes, or yellow flashes, but this time it was definitely orange. So I knew there's something going on with this orange thing, but I hadn't looked up the meaning of it yet. And, the universe is pretty persistent. I still didn't know what orange meant. I was listening to, these YouTube videos that I listen to because, the world is such an interesting place. And in the video, it was talking about the color orange and how it represents death. And I was like, oh, that's what the universe was sending me. It was sending me a message of death. And if you know anything about tarot, the death card doesn't mean literal death. It means usually like a really big change. And so this is how I'm interpreting it, as that we are in for a really big change, and it's imminent. And of course, in the truther community, we've all been looking at the numbers September 23.9 and 24, because these symbols have been put in many movies. They've been a cabal sort of disclosure over, many decades that something's going to happen on September 23rd or 24th. And that's today. Today is September 23rd. So I wake up this morning, and my dog needs to go out to pee, of course. And, I check her for ticks every day. And yesterday she didn't have any. But this morning, as I was just patting her head and like half asleep, it's still pretty dark. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I feel something on her head, and I was like, what's this? And I pull it off, and I realize it's one of those blood-sucking ticks, a really big one, a huge one. I don't know how it got big so fast because I didn't see it there, but it was a huge blood-sucking tick. And I just instinctively pulled it out and threw it on the floor, and it's dark, and I was like, oh crap, where did I throw it? So here I am walking around in the dark, and the light is on the other side of the room. So I'm like, oh, I hope I don't step on this thing. And sure enough, I hear this big pop. And I was like, oh crap. And I'm pretty sure I stepped on it. And I did. I turned the light on, and oh my gosh, this bloody sticky mess was everywhere, all over the floor. And I was like, oh no, this is horrible. And I was like, kind of grumpy. I'm just waking up and I have to deal with this big bloody mess. And so I let the dog out, and I grabbed some paper towels and start cleaning it up. And I was like, this is a message from the universe. Why would the universe want me to find this giant bloody tick and step on it and get blood everywhere? Like, why? And then, I had a little bit of negative energy, so I took some smudge. First thing I did was smudge myself before I started getting ready. And then as soon as I started feeling better, then I realized what the universe was telling me, and it was hilarious. It was telling me that the bloodsuckers, they were big and awful and terrible, but we squashed them, and it was a bloody mess. But they're gone. And once they're cleaned up, then we've got ourselves a beautiful world. So this was the message. And I sat there laughing for a few minutes when I realized it. Hey guys, we are on the precipice of a big event, and nature's been telling me this. And this morning, on September 23rd, I got a bloody mess. So I can't wait to see what today brings. I hope these messages inspire you to look at nature, to find your own messages as well. And I'll check in with you soon. Pura vida. God bless. God be with all of you. And hang in there. We'll get there and get to the other side. Remember our little light bug. Love and light will be on the other side. Pura vida.